Okay, guys, let's look at this question paper 1. Let's start with factorizing. Question 1 is always factorizing or simplifying. So look at it. Here, factorize the following expression fully. So make sure you have factorized it fully. So here, first thing I can do is to take out a common factor of 4. And I have that. And then I realize inside the bracket, I have a difference of 2 squares. Call it dots. So you need to simplify it again. So remember, difference of 2 squares, we take squares of this. So square root of 4, it's 2. Different signs in the 2 brackets. And then y squared, it's y. Such that if I'm to multiply this, it has to take me back to the answer there. So, secondly, this one is a difference of cubes. And how do we do it? We have a smaller bracket and a bigger bracket. And then what is the first term? The cubic root of x cubed will be x. And the cubic root of 1 will be 1. So that is our first term. And here, we square first term here. So the first term squared. And then we square the last term here. 1 squared is 1. And then here we multiply first term and the second term. 1 multiplied by x becomes 1x, but we just write it as 1. Then what is the signs in between? The signs in between, it's a negative, and a positive, and a positive. Over, then we write all that one down. Squared plus x plus 1. So, and then what do you notice here? These 2 brackets are the same. So comes 1, they cancel out, and then what is your final answer? X plus 1. So you have to notice difference or sum of cubes. That's how you do it. And then here, let's look at what is going to happen here. I'm going to try grouping. Let's see, x plus 1. Group these 2 together, plus y plus minus y. And then x minus 1, take out a common factor here, which is that 1 plus x. Okay, does it work? Plus x, the signs are not the same. So if the signs are not the same, what do we do? If we multiply this one, still the signs will not be the same. So I'm going to try a different one, take a different one, group the other 2 together. Yeah, I group the first 2, it doesn't work out. So I'm going to try to group other terms together. So there's that one. So let's see now. Let me group this one and that one. So group x minus xy and group these 2. So just for it to make sense, I'm going to swap. I'm going to put this one there and like this. Is it fine like this? Then take out a common factor. What is our common factor? X. X, no, it's fine. What is our common factor? X and then 1 minus that plus y minus 1. So here, the terms are the same, just that the signs are not the same. So what are we going to do? We're going to apply the sign change. Sign change, we change this one to a minus, and then we swap this one. Yeah, either way will work. 1 minus 1. So we just swap the sign change this to a plus and swap these 2 terms together. And then we have a common factor here. 1 minus y, 1 minus y. 1 minus y becomes a common factor. Then what am I left with? X. If this whole bracket moves, then what are we left with? This whole bracket goes away, then we're left with 1. So that is your answer. So you saw the first step, we tried to group these two together. It didn't work. So you have to change. If those two don't work, try the other 2 terms, group them together. Look for a common factor, and then you should be fine with that one. Okay, moving along. Let's look at this one. Now, simplify. We are not factorizing or simplifying, but we can use factorizing principles when we're simplifying. So look at it now. Okay, here, what am I going to do? I'm going to simplify. I'm going to factorize. Factorize. And the numerator, I'm going to take out a common factor. And then here, I'm going to factorize using a trinomial. So what is the common factor in the first one? Common factor is 1, is 3. So I'm going to take out 3 out. If I take out 3, I'm left with 1 minus x over. How do we factorize a trinomial? We get the factors of 1 squared and 2 to get the factors of negative 3x. So something like this. I'm going to have x. The factors of 2 is 2 and 1. If I add them up together, 2x plus 1x will give me 3x. How do I know I have to add them? We get this tab here. This sign says you need to add factors. And then the signs of the brackets are the same because of this. So this plus here says you are adding, and then it also says that the signs must be the same. Okay, we find for now. Okay, now we're gonna create our bracket. Okay, so I'm gonna have x2, x1. Now, how do we get the sign? We said if it's a plus here, it says the signs must be the same in the 2 brackets. And then we use the sign of the middle term. So it's going to be minus. Is that fine? Okay, cool. Now, what am I going to do now? These 2 brackets have the same terms, but differ in signs. So I'm going to multiply the numerator with a negative to apply the sign change. So if I multiply this, look here. If I multiply this with a minus, the minus is going to affect the negative 3 and the bracket. So I'm going to have minus 3. I'm going to have a minus 3. Minus 3, and then a negative and a negative will give me a positive x, and a negative and a positive will give me a negative 1 over x minus 2, x minus 1. These 2 are going to cancel, and then what are we left with now? Negative 3 over x minus 2 becomes your simplified version. That's fine. Cool. Okay, moving along to the exponential one. Let me just create space here. Oh, okay, all right. Okay, let's look at 1.2.2 now. Say simplify that expression. So the first thing we do there, we change all the bases to be prime bases. That's the first thing. Because remember, with applying laws of exponents, we are always saying the basis must be the same. The foundation of applying laws of exponents, we need the basis to be the same. So as it stands, we don't have same base. So we have 16, 12, 3, and 4. So we're gonna press, and the calculator does it for you. You just press this number, and then you say equal sign, press the number, you press equal sign, then you press shift, then you press fact. Then it will give you straight the prime base for that number. So for 16, it's going to be 2 to the 4, negative x. For 12, 12 is going to be 3 multiplied by 2 squared. And then you write whatever that you have outside, the x plus 1. Over, what about the 3? 3 stays the same. It's already a prime base. And then what about the 4? 4 becomes the 2 squared x minus x. So first step, you get a mark for changing all your prime, your numbers to prime bases. Second step, we apply law number 3. Law number 3 says, if we have a power raised to a power, we multiply. When we see a bracket, we're going to multiply the exponents together. So here, I'm going to have 4 multiplied by negative x will be negative 4x. And then here, 3 multiplied, 1 multiplied by x plus 1 will be x plus 1. Then 2x and 2 becomes what? 2x plus 2. Not 2x plus 1. We multiply these 2 terms with a 2. So 2x plus 2 over, this one stays the same. 2 multiplied by negative x becomes negative 2x. Now here, we're going to apply the law 2 of exponents. Says when multiplying parts of the same base, we're going to subtract the exponents and apply law 1 also. So I'm just going to apply these 2 steps. So if I'm multiplying parts of the same base, I'm going to add the exponent. So I'm going to add, since this is a 2, remember? These 2 are the same. I'm going to add them up. And on the same line, I'm going to apply law 2. It says if I have this, I can subtract the exponent. So on the same line, I'm going to subtract this. When I subtract this, since it's a negative becomes a positive that I am subtracting. So because of the negative, it's going to change it to a positive. So I'm going to have negative 4x plus 2x plus 2 plus 2x. Do you understand where this 2x is coming from? Because I'm subtracting this one. So 2x and 2x becomes 4x, and 4x minus 4x becomes 0. I'm left with only 2 squared. I'm not done. I have to do the 3. The 3 is x plus 1 minus this one, minus the x. When dividing parts of the same base, we subtract. So minus x. So that my answer is 2 squared multiplied by 3, which is 4 multiplied by 3, which is 12. This is 12, yeah. Nice question. Okay, moving along to 1.3, do that one. Just need to clear space here. Okay. Okay, let's look at this last question here. Given that m equals x into x minus y, this is what we're given. Determine the value of m. Want to know how much m is if we're given that, and then we're given this one. So how are we going to do such a question? So the first thing, look at what is given and look at this 2. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to try to factorize this part. Let me factorize this part. Let's see. Okay. Factorizing this part, I'm going to get x squared, open bracket, x minus 2y equals 3. Okay, and then how do I make this related to that one? So let's look at this one now. What am I going to do in this? Okay, so it's not happening the way. So here, there's no relationship here because look at here, this x is x squared and 2 is y here. So if they were the same, then we're just going to equate this to that one, but it doesn't work in this case. So what am I going to do? Let's try a different method. So let me work this one out. Let's see. If I work this one out, I'm going to have x expanded, x minus 1. So the sign has to be the same because it's the same bracket squared, same bracket. So I cannot change the sign. And then if I multiply this 2, I have x squared minus xy minus xy plus y squared. Remember, a negative and negative will be a positive. So the last one will have a negative. We'll have a positive, sorry, positive. Now let's work multiply in with the x. Or here I should have an xy also, because I'll multiply this 2. So I'm going to have x squared minus 2xy minus y squared plus y squared. Multiply in with the x, we have x cubed minus 2x squared y plus x y squared. This is m. So this is m expanded. So I'm expanding this one. Now I can see some connection there. Look at this part. This part is the same as that part. It's 3. Look at this part. X1 is xy squared is 4. So this part is 4. Therefore, m is 3 plus 4, which is 7. Yes. So you have to look at it in all different aspects. How do you relate from what is given and what you have? They gave you this. We have those two expressions, this one. How do we relate the two? Okay, that's fine. Moving along. Moving along. Question 2 now, so for x. Okay, with solve for x, solve the following without the use of a calculator. Okay, let me reduce a bit. Okay, what are we going to do here? Okay, the standard form says make the equation equal to 0. So take everything to one side. 3 minus 9x equals to 0. Remember, when a term moves to the other side, we say we transpose. We change the sign. Sign change in the other side. So when we're moving to the left-hand side, to the right-hand side, or either way, the sign changes. If it's a negative, positive, it's a positive, becomes a negative. So I have a 9x now, and then I'm going to factorize this. Take out a common factor, x, then I have x minus 9 equals to 0 squared. And then I'm going to do a difference of 2 squares there. X plus 3, x minus 3 equals to 0. Then my solutions will be x equals to 0, x equals to minus 3, x equals to 3. I equate everything here to 0, the 0 factor law. So x will be equal to 0, x plus 3 equals to 0. Then I move the 3 to the other side. That's why I have a negative 3. X minus 3 equals to 0 will give me a positive. because I moved the 3 back to the right-hand side. So we're having 3 solutions because of this. We have 3 solutions. Okay, so far, so good. Going to question 2.1.2 now. It says, solve the following without the use of a calculator. Solve for x, same thing, solve for x. So the first thing we're going to do in this case, what are we going to do? I'm going to divide with the bracket. Divide with the bracket. So divide both sides by pq squared minus pq minus pq squared minus pq. So first thing I will have here will be p over p squared minus p, that pq squared equals, this cancels this side, equals 3 over 2. Now, where does this x go? This x is a numerator. So I can put it with the 3 because it's a denominator. We just write it here because when we write it as one term, but is it a numerator or denominator? It is a denominator. Now, I can take out a common factor here. There's a p, so I can take p out as a common factor. P out, then I'm left with q minus q equals 3 over 2x. This cancel. That's fine. And then I can do cross multiplication there so that this will go there. So I have 3x equals 2 over q squared there. I can do difference of 2 squares here, but it won't really help. It won't really help with anything. So what does this mean? I have 2 over q squared minus q squared divided by 3. And then if we divide by 3, remember we change this to times, and then we flip the fraction. So it's actually going to be 2 over 3q squared minus q. Because when I multiply this and this, it's 2. And then this whole thing multiplied by 3 will be 3. Okay. Hope you got it there, guys. Okay, let's do this few more questions. Okay. Okay, now look at this question. This one, what is the first thing you do? You divide both sides by 3. Divide both sides by 3. What is 81 divided by 4? 27, I think. 81 divided by 4. By 3, sorry. By 3. So 81 over 3 becomes 3 over 4 equals to 27. I can change this to be a prime base. It will be 3 over 4, 3 cubed. So mark for dividing by 3, mark for changing this into a prime base. Then we do what we call rationalizing. What do? We multiply this by the reciprocal of that number. So 4 over 3 multiplied by a reciprocal of 3 over 4 is 4 over 3 on both sides. This will cancel. And then what about this one? This 3 over 1 is the same as 3 is the same as 3 over 1. So this will also cancel. And you're left with 3 to the 4. 3 to the 4, which is I think 81. 3 times 3 is 81. So x is 81. Okay. Beautiful question. So it was worth, is it how many marks? Oh, 2 marks. Okay, the 4 marks was for the other one. It's fine. Okay. Moving along to 2.2 equality. So here, we're going to multiply in with this. This becomes what? 6 negative 9x greater than 15. Take this one to that side, negative x greater than 9, 15 minus 6. It's a positive, remember, it's going to be a negative there. It's going to be a 9. Then divide both sides by negative 9. Now remember, the inequality change is going to change direction. It's going to change direction because we are multiplying by that. So my answer will be x less or equal to negative 1, of which I can represent it on a number line as, as this, included, because equal to, the minus 1 is included. Then move it to the left, to the direction of the inequality, basically. So move it to the direction of the inequality. Then that's your answer. That's your answer. Okay, they wanted this answer here. They say represented on number line for 1 mark. So 1 mark, you don't have to write the whole number line. You just do a rough sketch. Okay, so we're gonna do solve for x. I'll post it here. Then I'll do solve for x part 2. Okay, we'll just do it quickly and then and this one. Okay, solve for x. 2 ways of doing it. There is substitution method and there is elimination method. Whichever method works quicker. In grade 10, they don't really specify which method you should use. But in grade 11, mostly you will use substitution. So I'm going to use elimination method because it's quicker. X plus 2y equals 13. And then I'm going to write the second equation here underneath the first equation, but I'm going to put x's together, y's together, constants together in that form. So I'm going to have a 3x here. Then here I'm supposed to have a y, so I'm going to put this y to this side. It's a negative. When it gets there, it's going to be a positive. And on the other side, I have a 2. Then how do we continue from there? Elimination method says subtract the one equation from the other. So what is 3 minus 3? It's going to be 0. What is 2 minus 1? It's going to be 1y, 1y. And what is 13 minus 2? It's going to be 11. Is that fine? And then continuing. Now I can use this, since I have the value of y, I'm going to substitute the value of y into equation 2 to calculate for x. So I'm going to use that to calculate for x. So I have 3x minus 2. So this one, 2 minus, in the place of y, I do have the value of y, it's 11. And then you calculate it. So 3x, 2 minus 11 will be negative 9. Divided by 3, divided by 3. X is a negative 3. So can you see? Then what can we do? Substitute the two values in maybe equation 1 to check if our values are correct. So this will be that plus that will be 11. Let's see. This is minus 9 plus 22, which is 13. Yes. 13. You press that on the calculator and just make sure you're correct. 22 minus 9 is 13. Yes. So you can do the same thing with the substitution method. You're going to get the same thing. Thank you, guys. We'll continue with the paper in the next video.